So I think anybody making $100,000 a year, single person, or 120 as a family, should have child care capped at 7% of their income, period. Period.
So President Biden is being urged by several lawmakers to sign an executive order that would send out the next round of stimulus checks immediately to eligible people across the nation. So as the crisis continues, lawmakers from both parties are coming forward in support for a larger stimulus bill. A fourth stimulus package, that is.
Because of the work we did, this country is vaccinated and started building the economy, the bottom up and the middle out. Something incredible is happening. We're seeing a manufacturing revival I don't think even those of you from the Midwest thought would occur.
The federal government is now sending out extra stimulus money. On top of the federal relief, many states and cities have stepped up to send financially struggling residents another stimulus check this year, thanks to budget surpluses and state tax laws. Residents of many states can expect additional payments from the government in 2022 if they meet eligibility requirements. According to California's legislative analysis, many residents might be owed as much as $1,000 if the projected budget surplus, which is currently estimated about $45.7 billion, is as large as they think it will be. California's past two rounds of Golden State stimulus provided hundreds of dollars in relief payments to tens of thousands of people in the state. Now California Governor Gavin Newsom has just announced that more stimulus payments will likely be part of his next yearly state budget plan. The rules for eligibility for the past two stimulus checks required Californians making less than $75,000 per year to file their 2020 taxes before October 15th of last year. In Indiana, residents are also due to receive a $125 stimulus check, but only after they file their 2021 tax return. State law requires officials to hand taxpayers a refund if reserves total more than 12.5% of the general funding pot. Now, the state has about $4 billion in reserves, equating to 23% of its general fund. So taxpayers will see the payments arrive via direct deposit or paper check. The governor of Indiana also said, despite a crisis, Indiana exceeds all expectations and closed the state fiscal year with an unprecedented amount in reserves. But the state will have to come up with a way to send relief money to the 910,000 low-income residents of Indiana that pay taxes but don't file return. And the president who entered the White House last year with the most ambitious climate agenda in history is struggling to notch major wins. Pramila Jayapal has said some goals of the Build Back Better, like prescription pricing and climate change, could be achieved through executive action. The representative for Washington, the leader of the House Progressive Caucus, rejected calls to immediately remove climate change elements of the massive $1.75 trillion Build Back Better package in an effort to get it passed. Jayapal also told reporters that the landmark spending bill needs to be the main focus for the Democratic Party. For the next few weeks, that is. So a key part of the Build Back Better is a $555 billion spending plan to combat climate change, as the Biden administration looks to transition the U.S. away from fossil fuels. But Joe Manchin wants to cut some, not all, climate change proposals. The senator for West Virginia has suggested that he backs those on innovation, technology, and tax credits for clean technologies. Senator Edward Markey also said that he warned the Biden administration that they are running out of time to get the bill passed. But Jayapal pushed back on breaking up this bill at this stage. Jayapal has recently introduced a new bill which aims to create millions of jobs for those at the front line who rebuild home and infrastructure destroyed by climate change-linked disasters. The Climate Change Resilience Workforce Act would attach labor standards and provide training, investment, and citizenship for resilience workers, many of whom are undocumented immigrants and former prisoners. Jayapal said there would be a crossover between her bill and climate provisions. So what are your thoughts on the current agenda of President Biden? Can he get the job done in time? Tell me what you think, everybody, in the comments down below.
We can do that. We'll cut the cost of child care in half, and a family's paying $14,000 a year in San Francisco, Philadelphia, all the big cities of the country, for just one child. And look, that extra $7,000 in their pocket will make a difference what they can do. There's so much we can do. Let me be clear, none of this is going to increase inflation. 17 Nobel laureates spontaneously, a month and a half ago, wrote to me. 17 Nobel laureates in economics wrote me a long paper saying this will help ease inflationary pressures over time, not increase it, ease. And we can do this without raising one single penny on taxes on anybody making less than $400,000 a year. Let me say that again, be crystal clear. No one making less than $400,000 a year will pay a single additional penny in tax for all these things that were in the Build Back Better plan. We have to do this. We have to do this. We have to ask it easy. Ask the biggest, those are the biggest corporations who pay very little, to raise their hand. Everybody in here, raise your hand if you think the existing tax structure is remotely fair. I'm not being serious. I could do this at a Republican meeting privately, and they'd say that no one would raise their hand. But look, we have in 2020, 55 of the biggest corporations in America, the Fortune 500, paid zero in taxes, and they made $40 billion in profit. $40 billion. You know it, I know it, the American people know it. It just isn't right. Look, I'm a capitalist. This isn't about punishing anybody. I love Bernie, I really do, he's a great friend, but I'm not Bernie. If you can make $1 billion, make it, but for God's sake, pay your fair share, for damn it, right now. But why are teachers and firefighters paying a higher percentage of taxes than billionaires and big corporations, which is literally true, literally true. And we can fix this. We can raise the standard of living for hardworking people without raising taxes, without raising inflation, and without raising the deficit. And for all those folks out there who like to attack us for, let me remind them, last year, because of what you all did, we reduced the deficit by $360 billion. We, the Democrats, while the economy grew. We're on track right now. I'm on track to be the first president in history to lower the deficit by over $1 trillion. The pride that comes from stamping products made in America. Intel came to see me, the CEO. He said he wants to invest $20 billion to build factories in Eastern Ohio, manufacture computer chips. Semiconductors, the power of the world in everyday lives, smartphones, Intel, technology that doesn't exist today. And they're prepared to increase their investment from $20 billion now to $100 billion now. As soon as you get final passage, the innovation bill headed to conference now. This bill will invest another $200 billion to make us competitive, including $52 billion in computer chips. We invented these damn things. We, the United States, everybody forget, we invented the computer chip and going to the moon. And we have been, every single solitary part of modernizing the technology and the computer chip has been American-made. But we stopped making them in America. And now we're going to make them again. That's going to help bring down the price of automobiles, appliances, and so much more.